All right, so we finally got some new content in Red Dead Online, and there's the new Telegram missions called Rough Justice. So today's video is going to be pretty much a breakdown and a guide on pretty much how to get started with them, as well as how they work, and just breaking down each and every mission, help you guys out just to get through it, and overall what I think Rockstar could have did a little bit better with some of them as well. So before we get into it, if you guys aren't already, make sure to be subscribed and put up post notifications, and if you find this helpful or enjoy it, make sure to drop a like. So to get started with these new missions, it's just like the old ones. You know, we have multiple Telegram missions at this point in Red Dead Online. You head over to the post office, or you can go to your camp lockbox and you just collect a letter from Jay with Josiah, and you'll be able to see that these new ones are called Rough Justice once again, and there's 3 new ones. All right, so first off, when you play it for the first time, you're going to have to play it in standard mode, and then eventually there's hard mode, and then there's ruthless mode. Ruthless of course pays more compared to standard, but you have to play, you know, through all the modes pretty much until you can get the, you know, one that pays the most, which is ruthless again. So we're going to start off with the first one, which is Hostage to Fortune. So this one, pretty much what you're doing is just freeing hostages that are in the town of Valentine. And the thing is with this mission, you can do this sneakily or stealthy, I guess, or you could do it aggressive. It's really up to you. Honestly, in my opinion, I feel like doing it aggressive the first time is better, because it gives you a bit of a introduction to how things are going to get set up, and also gives you a bit of a, you know, guide on how, you know, things are going to be around and where the hostages are, where the enemies are going to be. Because I feel like if you go with this stealthy the first try, you're probably going to end up getting caught because you don't know exactly where the guards are, because there's actually a lot of them. And of course, you don't know where any of the hostages are as well, because they're not on your minimap until you get close to them. So I think at least like when you're doing a standard mode, stick with that. Then eventually when you get to hard mode, if you want to, you can try, or go for part 2 with that. Then in ruthless, you know, eventually go with stealthy, because you probably do end up getting paid more, especially because there's a total of 10 hostages. And when you do it aggressive, some of them do end up dying. So the less hostages, the less money that you get. So for me, I think I ended up getting around like 5 or 6 hostages at the end of that, because I did go aggressive from the start. If you want to go stealthy again, just take out the guards that are the outside first at Valentine. I think there's probably going to be less guards as well if you do a stealthy as well. But overall, regardless, if you're doing a stealth or aggressive, it's easy, because if you know the town of Valentine, you pretty much have an idea of where the hostages can be, since the Valentine, you know, has a lot of interiors such as like the doctor's office, the gun shop, you know, and all that saloon. As long as you just check all those interiors, it just gives you, you know, a way to, you know, possibly find these hostages. And they're mainly located in interiors. I don't think there's really any one that was located outside. There might be a few, but most of them are located inside a building. So if you just check each and every building, you'll be able to find these hostages. And just know near hostages usually is going to be enemies, so just, you know, watch out for that. So don't expect to just walk in and just, you know, grab the hostage. No, there's usually going to be you know, at least one guard standing there, and just, you know, look out for that. And then once you just pretty much kill them, and then you can free the hostage, you just run away. You don't gotta take them to a specific location or whatever, so you just get away. But again, if you go aggressive, you do end up losing a few hostages along the way, which, you know, does deduct the pay a little bit. Overall, I mean, it's pretty simple. Just go around Valentine, just freeing most of the hostages. You know, it is pretty cool that Rockstar does actually open up the bank as well, because that's usually closed in, you know, free mode. So you can actually check that out if you guys want to. But overall, it's just, you know, taking out a bunch of, you know, guards or whatever that get in your way, and you just free hostages. So I think most people can probably complete this on their first try. But again, I would honestly recommend going with the stealth, because you do get paid more. And then once you free all the hostages, you're just going to be prompted to just step away from the area. For whatever reason, there was a lot of enemies just chasing me at this point, but I just took them out. And once you get, like, you know, a few miles away, you'll be able to just continue on and just finish up with that mission. So you get paid around like $20-$30. Again, paid does depend on which mode you're playing, as well as, you know, the route that you decide to go with it. The next mission is the Bell Tolls, and this one's actually a lot more difficult, and I do recommend doing this probably with a few friends or in a few randoms. So really all the objective of this is just getting the train from you know, near Valentine over to Saint Denis. And overall, it's really easy. You don't get to drive the train. You pretty much just stand on the train with a bunch of allies. I think it's around like 7 to 9 allies that are there with you to defend. You know, pretty much like the same type of allies that are like in Call to Arms, if you ever played that game mode. And overall, there's just, you know, a bunch of enemies are just going to attack from the outside on horses, which, you know, sounds pretty easy. You know, you're just defending a train. If you ever played that one mission from, you know, the Blood Money DLCs, like Emerald Covington or something like that, it's kind of very similar to that. But the difference with this is that these enemies, at least some of them, actually have dynamite arrows, so which means obviously just one shot is going to end up killing you, so you do have to watch out for that. It's not really common, but just know that these, you know, enemies are kind of aggressive. Some of them don't even stand on horseback, and some of them are actually just on foot. So I'd recommend staying in cover a lot. There's a Maxim gun that's located on the trains, so if you want to end up using that, that can be a lot helpful. But just know allies will help you out, and if you stay inside like the train car, that's also going to be your best friend, because you will, you know, obviously not get shot that much. One thing about this mission for sure though is that it's not really simple. It's not just like, you know, you stay on the train the whole time. There is like, you know, a type of timer that's at the top, and I think the timer, you know, obviously it keeps counting up. It's not like it goes down. but the longer you take, I think the less pay you might end up getting. I'm not really sure if Rockstar changed that, but that just seems like kind of what it is, or at least it just times you on how long it takes you to get over to Saint Denis. But what I do have to say though for sure is you got to watch out, because it's not just like a simple, you know, stay on the train the whole time. There's gonna be parts where you actually have to get off the train because there's going to be a barricade at first. This one you have to end up blowing up, and again you got to watch out because there's gonna be a lot of enemies there. And the second part is like near roads where there's actually going to be one enemy that's like in the Maxim gun machine. You got to watch out for them, and you have to end up freeing hostages as well. This is the part where it got a little bit difficult because a lot of enemies start spawning in and everything. And also for this mission you cannot do a stealth at all. One thing I gotta say though for sure is that this mission, it's just like, I don't know, I feel like Rockstar just added a lot of random stuff. Like the barricade at first makes sense, but then the fact they're just, you know, 5 random hostages, or it was like a few hostages just randomly tied on the tracks, which just, I don't know, just kind of spawned out of nowhere. I didn't think it was really that good, but whatever, Rockstar decided to put that in. But either way, just know that there's going to be parts where you have to get off the train, do things, and then you got to go back on. But again, watch out because these enemies are a lot more aggressive compared to some of the regular ones. But eventually you just end up going to Saint Denis, and that's the end of that mission right there. And then for the last mission, is called Trial and Tribulation. This one is another one that I could say is probably more easier, and I could say this is something that a lot of people can do solo. You don't even really need anybody for this. But for the second one, the belt tolls, definitely you want to get at least somebody with you. But again, that of course can be done solo. But anyways, for Trial and Tribulation, there's pretty much going to be 3 different camps, and you're just looking for information. Now, it's simple. It's just pretty much like a bounty mission. If you ever played any of those, it's exactly what it is. Just go to certain locations and search for stuff. This one a little bit different though, because when you go to some of the camps, actually there's going to be some valuables, which does add to how much money you can get from this mission. So overall, you just go to camps, there's a few enemies around, just look around the search area, and then you can end up seeing that there's going to be chests that pop up, or you could just even see the chest. You open them up and you get like platinum bands or like necklaces or whatever, and that of course just adds to money for your mission. Few enemies, I mean, some camps I think have a little bit more than others, but overall I'll say there's gonna be like 20 to 30 enemies, so watch out for that. I think the camp part is the more easier part, because once you do the first 2 camps, you know, it's easy. Then you do the third one. The third one is usually where it shows you know, more valuables. It's like 2 valuables per camp, and there's 3, so it's like, you know, a total of 6. So you get them all, and there's going to be like a little lockbox that has information on the bounty target. It's not exactly a bounty target, but that's like basically what it is. And then you just get the information. You end up going to Van Horn, and then at Van Horn, it actually, I think at this part you can do a stealth. I decided to go aggressive though, because it just seemed a better way. And overall I didn't even know that you could do a stealth, but either way, there's not that many enemies regardless. Just know they're going to start kind of attacking you though. So at least for the enemy, or not the enemy, but for the main target, at least for me, they were located in this saloon. So just take out the enemies around them. Make sure you don't end up killing them, because you got to take them alive. You cannot take them dead, like some of the bounties. And then you just hog tie them, put them on the back of your horse, and just go to a certain location. So overall, pretty simple mission. If you ever played any bounty missions, it's exactly just like that. You know, just get rid of the enemies to protecting them, hog tie them, take them to a location. If you want to, I'm pretty sure you can probably call in a bounty wagon if you want them to be like, you know, fully protected or whatever. So it's really up to you. Overall, easy mission. I got paid around $30 for that, so it's going to be around $30 to like $30 to $50 at least for most of the missions, again depending on the mode and how you perform them. And then overall, when it comes to all 3 of the missions, they're, you know, straightforward, simple, nothing too crazy or cool ideas put into them. They're just like the standard ones, and these have honestly been in the game for like years now, I think, or at least months. So it's not anything, you know, new that Rockstar is really putting into it. This is just old content that they finally released. So really, you know, I gave my thoughts on these missions. I would say that, you know, they're just new missions, and like they're not anything special. They don't have any references. They're just, you know, an addition to Red Dead Online if you want to play them. I just kind of see them as like the other, you know, Telegram missions that we already have, so nothing too special with these. I would say check it out if you want to try some new content, but it's not anything, you know, special that I would say, you know, definitely get on and check it out. So if you guys want to check it out though, it is out now. You know, hopefully you guys enjoy this guide, as well as, you know, a breakdown of these missions. And if you guys did, then make sure to subscribe and put on post notifications. We got a lot more content coming out, and of course tomorrow we do have the release of RDR1 for the PlayStations as well as Nintendo Switch, so definitely look forward to that. We'll be streaming. But if you guys enjoy though, make sure to drop a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.